Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360. It's live from our news up here at Desawa in Kanda. My name is Alfred Okanse.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Let's take a look at the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Irate Fisherfolk protest inauguration of fishing task force at Otrope in Adan West District.
The World Bank identifies 1.5 gigawatts of excess electricity in Ghana, blaming the development on multiple power purchase agreements by previous governments.
And in business, Switzerland gives Ghana $2.6 million grants to support companies develop or introduce innovative remittance products.
And also on the international front, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari makes a rare public appearance today amid ongoing questions about the state of his health.
We have the details of these stories as well as the very latest from the world of sports and entertainment in the next hour. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. This is where we start off this evening. The World Bank has identified 1.5 gigawatts of excess electricity in the country as oversupply exceeds demand and use. Country Director Henry Kerali has blamed this development on multiple power purchase agreements signed by the previous government. In excess, government has therefore been tasked to discuss with neighboring countries to sell some of the country's energy while it continues to review these agreements.
The previous government signed over 40 purchase agreements. This, the World Bank says, has pushed the country to have excess in energy generation.
We also believe from the figures we have seen from government that the tariffs signed for those PPAs were generally higher than similar tariffs in neighboring countries. And so the situation that Ghana faces right now is potentially an oversupply of electricity within the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Growth for the entire African region is projected at 2.6% for 2017. The major challenge for the sub-region is attracting private sector investment. Records from the World Bank shows $10 trillion for underperforming investments in the world.
Africa needs to make the structural reforms, make the business environment reforms, in other words, make countries business friendly, but also in some countries there are still protectionist tendencies. In other words, countries try to protect their domestic market and exclude international markets.
With improvement in the energy sector and economic performance, the World Bank has projected 6 to 7% robust growth in 2017 for Ghana.
Drivers of growth are the expected better performance of commodity prices. Despite the drop in the last couple of days, we forecast in the medium term, a gradual increase in commodity prices. And Ghana has a significant revenue potential from oil, gas, gold.
The World Bank has further allocated $1.2 billion to government from July this year to June next year. 20 to 30% of this amount will serve as budget support and the rest on other projects by the World Bank and Government of Ghana.
All right, so what we're going to do right now is walk you through what the situation looks like in terms of the power plants that have been installed as we speak at the moment. There's a VRA installed generation capacity, and there are also the independent power producers who also have a number of plants that is also giving some amount of power to the country. But as it stands now, there's projected 200 megawatts annually, where it is expected that every other year there's an increase in energy demand of about 200 megawatts. What you see behind me right now is the power plants as we speak in Ghana. About 9 of them are currently installed. The Bui Hydro Plant expected is capacity of about 400 megawatts, and then also the Car Power Badge 1, 235 megawatts. Senan Asogli Phase 1 about 200 megawatts. Now, Senan Asogli Phase 2 Stage 1 is about 180 megawatts. And also, this is about just the first 4 as we speak at the moment. Now, if you see also the Senan Asogli Phase 2, which is also expected about installed capacity of about 180 megawatts, and the Sene Power Plant, Ameri Power Plant, all combined will give you about 360 megawatts as expected in terms of installed capacity. The BXC Solar 50 megawatts, the AXA also 360 megawatts as expected. That is not all as we speak at the moment, and this is why the World Bank is raising these questions about adding on to the installed capacity as we have it. But if you see the total plant capacity, if you add up all the 9 plants, both the VRA installed capacity and the independent power producers installed capacity, will give you about 1,935 megawatts for the total plant capacity. VRA's installed capacity about 2,340. It adds up to Ghana's total installed capacity. That's if you add up what the VRA is also expected to give, and the IPPs gives us a total of about 4,275. Now, the worry is that even though we have 4,275 installed capacity, the generation capacity, that is what is transferred into your homes as electricity, it's just about 2,600 thereabout. And if you look at the peak demand, where we have a lot of people relying or demanding electricity, it's about 1,900 to about 2,300 megawatts thereabout. And then also, what that means is that in as much as we have all these plants in place, if they are supposed to be producing, all other things being equal, as full capacity, then we would have this 4,225. But as it stands now, they're all not producing at full capacity. So in as much as we have this installed capacity, which is in excess, we still don't have enough because they don't produce at full capacity every time. And that's where the World Bank is raising that particular concern. But Africa's Center for Energy Policy has slammed government for being too slow in conducting a full-scale investigation into the controversial $520 million Ameri deal, despite a damning report alleging the contract was bloated by $150 million. The Deputy Executive Director of ASEP, Benjamin Boakye, is saying that the former power minister and some officials of the Voter Review Authority must be investigated for their roles in the deal.
Minority members on the Energy Committee in Parliament have dared government to abrogate the Ameri deal if it was fraudulent as alleged by a committee set up by the Energy Ministry. Former Minister of Power Dr. Kwabena Donkor says the report by the Philip Addison-led committee is full of factual inaccuracies and lacks objectivity. According to ASEP, the former minister and officials at the Power Ministry and VRA involved in the deal must be invited and questioned.
Dr. Donkor and those are the ministry, the VRA people who were part of the negotiation, should be called to answer the questions.
The report alleges Ghana was made to pay $150 million extra in commission to Ameri Energy for the construction of the power plant. ASEP says Ghana is still paying $9.9 million to Ameri as charges, and government is being too slow to stop the leakage.
Government is going slow on this issue. They have to be bold to investigate the matter and ensure that we can quickly salvage some of the losses that we are seeing.
Ben Boakye said the full-scale investigation by government should lead to evidence to prove the allegation of fraud.
Away from the power sector, a timely intervention by neighbors and the fire service prevented fire from completely destroying the girls' dormitory block of the Ekropong School for the Blind. The fire, which gutted one of the rooms for the adult students, was suspected to have been started by a faulty electrical wire.
The Ekropong School for the Blind, established in 1945, has over the years depended on benevolent support to take care of the school pupils. The school, which has several infrastructural defects, is also grappling with intruders and miscreants who constantly invade the school.
And stealing our things. And they'll have a garden there, whole maize out of now. Before somebody has gone to harvest the whole farm. One of our staff, the plantain, because before you realize they have cut it advantage. Now one of our children, just imagine a blind student preparing for the exams. They needed laptop to download certain things so that they can read, because they can read these printed textbooks. A brand new laptop which was bought just 3 days. Charging it, she was also in the room where the laptop had just one.
This group here is the final year JHS 3 students preparing for their impending BEC examinations. Although most students are on vacation, these few were the lucky ones who escaped what would have been a disaster had they not been in the classrooms studying when fire destroyed property at the girls' dormitory.
Of course, a problem because these children, maybe they will be in the room. So when the alarm is raised at the house, the place is on fire, they will run to one another with their beds and their belongings inside, struggling to come out. It will be a disaster. Maybe we don't know what might have happened. But thanks be to God that it happened during the vacation.
A worried headmistress of the school, Mahela Na, called for massive renovation to ensure safety of the school pupils.
Rewiring of the whole school. Because this one, the fire came as a result of, I think there was light off, the light came, it was on and off. He just realized that all the gadgets, some gadgets in his room, they were vibrating. So he quickly put off certain things. So this one, he just don't know, because no child was there, nobody was around, nobody was cooking, nobody sent fire there. But it was just God's intervention.
The question is, how much will it cost to rewire the entire school, to protect the school, and what would have happened if school was in full session before the fire outbreak? From the School for the Blind, Ikropong, Nana Kwekwedia, TV3 News.
The First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, is leading a campaign to raise funds to put up a new maternal block for the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital. A new maternity block, when completed, is expected to reduce avoidable maternal deaths.
Wife of the Vice President Samira Baumia, First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo is hoping to put up an entirely new maternity unit for the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital. This follows congestion at the unit, forcing nurses to put both preterm and sick babies in one incubator and cots. The hospital records an average of 4 deaths at the unit every day, which is a worrying situation. Mothers of these babies are always seen crowded, forcing them to go through stressful moments at the hospital.
We believe that when this new building comes up, monitoring will be improved, we get new equipment, there will be seamless transfer of mothers and babies between OPS and Gyne and Child Health, maintenance will improve, hospital maintenance costs will improve, mothers will feel better, and the environment will be conducive for teaching. So your concern and efforts, Your Excellency,
Professor Adiobo was grateful to the First Lady for championing a worthy cause. Dubbed Save a Child, Save a Mother project, First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo at a fundraising ceremony in Accra insisted mothers and babies must not lose their lives out of childbirth.
The cry of a healthy newborn baby pierces the air. The smile of a mother radiates happiness, gratitude, and wonder. This is the picture we all want. Like Esther in the Bible, we felt that God had put us in our positions for a time like this.
A minimum of 10 million cedis is expected to go into the building project.
New unit, however, would have 5 delivery beds, 3 operating rooms, and 4 emergency delivery beds. The new unit will allow CATH to take in 4 times the current number of infants and mothers. Ultimately, the projection is that this new unit would reduce the avoidable deaths by 60 to 80%.
Several organizations and individuals pledged millions of cedis to support the project. Led by their CEO, Goil Ghana made a donation of 250,000 cedis. Unilever Promasidor Zonta International all made donations towards the project. The new maternal unit of the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital is expected to be completed in 3 months.
President Akufo-Addo has promised to strengthen ties with Burkina Faso to improve trade and bilateral relations. The president said this after he was decorated with the highest national honor of Burkina Faso by President Marc Christian Kabore.
Burkina Faso is the second country the president is visiting in the first leg of his West African tour. After a short meeting with President Kabore, President Akufo-Addo was decorated with the highest national honor for promoting democracy and his exemplary leadership. President Akufo-Addo assured his Burkina Faso counterpart of Ghana's commitment to strengthen economic ties for the benefit of the two countries.
Our two countries are linked in so many ways, by history, by geography, by common ethnic and cultural ties, that we have no option but to work together to try and improve the conditions of life of our two peoples. That is the focus of my visit here, to reassure the President that even though there's been a change in the leadership of our country in Ghana, Ghana's commitment to strong relationships with her neighbors, in particular with Burkina Faso, remains unchanged.
President Akufo-Addo has since arrived in the Ivory Coast.
Irish Fisherfolk protested the inauguration of a fishing task force at Otrokwe in the Adan West district of the Greater Accra region. The group, which later apologized for their actions, say they fear the task force will interfere in their activities. The task force is expected to enforce a ban on illegal fishing, which is common in the area.
The inauguration of the task force, which was to check illegal fishing in the area, was attended by chief fishermen, traditional leaders and some government officials. About 5 minutes into the inaugural ceremony, a group of fishermen and fishmongers stormed the venue to disrupt the program. Police officers who were at the venue could not control the mob and had to call for reinforcement, but there was no response. The angry Fisherfolk cast insinuations on the dignitaries, including the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Elizabeth Afolikwe, and the chief of the area. The ringleaders went into a closed-door meeting with the police, after which the sector minister, Elizabeth Afolikwe, inaugurated the task force. The group indicated the Volunteer Fish Watch task force will hinder their activities. They also claimed the Fisheries Ministry is imposing the task force on them since they were not consulted. The sector minister expressed disappointment over the action of the group.
Fishermen have made themselves, they've turned themselves into politicians. They want a group of people from a particular party to be a part of what we are doing. But we are not really composing a political group.
The ringleaders later calmed down their members and apologized for the action.
But what that we are saying is that before anything, there should be the negotiation between the Fisherfolk and the chief fishermen. But it seems what is going on now, the chief fishermen are duly aware of the program, whilst the Fisherfolk are not aware.
Otrokwe is one of the coastal communities noted for the use of illegal fishing methods. The task force has since been mandated to bring sanity into the fishing activities in the area.
Well,
very worrying, very worrying.
Well, indeed, yes.
Yeah.
But the task force has to work. I mean, they are clamping down on illegal fishing activity. Absolutely. That's the most important thing. But still to come tonight.
Switzerland gives Ghana $2.6 million remittance grant facility to support companies to develop or introduce innovative remittance products and services.
And on the international front, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari makes rare public appearance today amid ongoing questions about the state of his health.
Return with these stories and more from the world of business here on News 360 shortly. Stay with us.
It's Friday. Good evening. And it's still News 360, but let's do business now. My name is Nanikia Mensah Brampa. Switzerland has given Ghana a $2.6 million remittance grant facility to support companies to develop or introduce innovative remittance products and services at low cost. Switzerland says it is determined to support Ghanaian financial institutions to develop.
The remittance grant facility was developed by the Ghana government and Swiss State Secretariat for Economic Affairs. The project is to address the operational constraints associated with remittances flow channels into Ghana and encourage innovative products and services development. Ghana's remittances have grown from $1.4 billion in 2003 to $17.8 billion in 2015, and government says there's the need to streamline its operations.
The overall impact of the IGF is improved financial inclusion in Ghana, we believe, especially against rural folks, as well as greater resilience to financial shocks.
KPMG International Development Advisory Service is the fund manager and has responsibility for the day-to-day management and monitoring of the project implementation. KPMG manager Amos Ansa assures due diligence will be conducted on the companies which will express interest in the project.
We will make sure we conduct due diligence on all these companies that will be submitting proposals for funding. So that's one level of it. The other level is the project itself, the idea they are submitting, whether this project idea lends itself to money laundering.
Companies eligible to apply for the grant include banks, money transfer operators, mobile network operators, and other commercial entities licensed. Deputy Head of Cooperation at Swiss Embassy, Daniel Lanschmann, says Switzerland is determined to assist Ghana's financial institutions to develop.
The remittances is one additional element complementing our engagement, contributing to the economic development of Ghana. It has been one area where we saw there are challenges and where we believe that the private sector can come up, has the potential to come up with good ideas, with innovative ideas to transfer the system.
Remittance Grant Facility project will end in 2020 with the option for a potential second phase to end in 2024. Companies are expected to receive a grant between $20,000 and $250,000 based on their proposals and contribution to the project.
Let's look at activities of some businesses now. And Accra Brewery Limited has repackaged its non-alcoholic malt beverage, Better Malt. The new package has appealing features which makes it easier to handle, coupled with improved taste.
Better Malt is the first non-alcoholic malt drink to be packaged in a disposable PET bottles. Close to 2 years, the Better Malt drink remains the most sought-after beverage at bars, parties and other occasions. The marketing head of ABL, Erefua Adoetua, noted the new fuel has been necessitated by the campaign to celebrate assertive and enterprising Ghanaians who strive to go higher while still enjoying their favorite Better Malt.
We want to inspire the enterprising Ghanaians who are at the center of Africa's growth to make sure that they reach high and aim for their goals, because there might be challenges that they might face on the way, but they will need liquid fuel to do that, and we implore them to choose Better Malt on their way up.
The new Better Malt has an attractive exterior design of a shapely bottle that perfectly fits the hand. The campaign, dubbed "The Only Way Is Up," will complement the hard work of Ghanaians with a Better Malt. The content remains the same: carefully brewed, crisp, dark, tasty malt with improved quality. The brand ambassador and consumer, Ms. V, testified to its great taste.
The bottle looks awesome. It's beautiful to see, and the taste is still super, 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 super. I am addicted to Better Malt, and it's amazing. I love Better Malt.
The country director of ABL, Philip Redman, assured consumers of working hard to satisfy them. Consumers can continue enjoying their Better Malt at the same price while chanting the slogan, "The only way is up," and never backing down.
Now, two companies belonging to businessman Ibrahim Mahama have fully settled their indebtedness to the Ghana Revenue Authority, according to documents cited by TV3 Business. The two, MBG Ghana Limited and Holman Brothers, were accused of not paying duties on equipment imported into the country.
Banker's draft cited by TV3 Business Desk show the payment of 2,176,545 cedis, 61 pesos by Holman Brothers Company Limited, and 10,216,258 cedis, 47 pesos paid by MBG Ghana Limited. Both monies were paid on May 4, 2017 through Stanbic Bank Ghana and were issued at the Tema Industrial Area branch. The two companies, Holman Brothers and MBG Ghana Limited, owned by businessman Ibrahim Mahama, were accused of owing the Ghana Revenue Authority. The companies, according to the GRA, defaulted in the payment of duties they incurred on imports they made into the country since 2015. The issue generated huge public controversy after the Economic and Organized Crimes Office invited Ibrahim Mahama for questioning. He was accused of issuing 44 Dutch checks to customs and was given up till May 8th to settle his indebtedness.
Well, we have more business news updates on our website. It's 3news.com, but that'll do for business tonight. My name is Nanikia Mensah-Brampa. Let's go over to Natalie and Alfred to continue.
Thanks, Nanikia, for the business.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
To other stories, 55 new community-based health planning systems, that's CHIPS compounds, are to be constructed in the Northern and Volta regions under the System for Health program of the United States Aid Agency, USAID. 155 compounds would also be renovated under the 5-year project.
Access to primary health care continues to be a challenge in part of the country, particularly for rural dwellers. This, among other challenges, including high maternal and child morbidity and mortality rates, informed the commencement of the 5-year System for Health program by USAID. The program has sponsored and facilitated various health empowerment projects in the Northern and the Volta regions to support interventions and improve the reproductive health and nutritional status of women and children. Work on the others will commence by the second half of this year and completed by end of next year. At the official sword cutting ceremony in the Warivi community in the Miom district of the Northern region, Chief of Party at the USAID System for Health, J. Wexler, said the project is part of the U.S. government support to provide equal and quality health care to all Ghanaians.
The collaboration resulted in the strengthening of community-based planning and systems, CHIPS, in all 26 districts of the Northern region and the other regions supported by the project. Additionally, the collaboration is expected to result in the construction of 55 new CHIPS compounds across the Northern and Volta regions.
The Northern Regional Minister Salifu Said expressed gratitude to the U.S. government for the support.
Today's event is quite significant for the chiefs and people of Northern region. USAID, they are one of the key funders or development partners who have helped not only in the health sector, but the agri sector and other core areas of our needs in Northern region.
The projects, when completed, will improve the provision of primary health care in rural Ghana by bringing health care to the doorstep of the underprivileged communities.
Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bugri Nabu, led a group of women to disrupt a meeting being held by Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Otiko Afisa Jaba, at Tamale in the Northern Region capital. The regional chairman described the meeting as illegal since the minister did not seek the consent of regional executives of the party.
The regional chairman of the NPP, Daniel Bugiri Nabu, stormed the meeting, insisting the meeting be called off, but the minister, who doubles as the national women organizer of the NPP, explained the meeting between her and the constituency women organizers was to appreciate them for their efforts during the 2016 campaign season that led to the party's victory. The development nearly turned chaotic, but for the timely intervention of the police. The gender minister asked the media and some women to leave the meeting because they were not invited. This resulted in a hot argument between the women. Some of the women said they suspected the minister's meeting was to rally support for one Suraya, whom she wants to be appointed the Northern Regional Coordinator for the school feeding program.
The meeting is illegal. The minister has no right to come to the region and call a meeting without first and foremost asking the regional authority to do that. Even the president, he will not do such a thing. And the school feeding, in respect of the school feeding, the president has nominated Madam Felicia.
Well, still watching News 360. Yeah. Alfred, something?
No. I mean, yeah.
Sure.
I think we could just move on. Yeah.
Well, you're still watching News 360. This bulletin is streaming live on News on TV3 on Facebook as well as 3news.com.
And so this evening, Kids reality show Talented Kids is in its 8th year, yet no dance group has won the penultimate prize. Two-member dance group, Allo Dancers, say they will rewrite the history of the competition come May 7th.
The Allo Dancers have for the past 3 months served patrons with the best and the most fascinating of dance moves and formations. In a keenly contested show, their display of dynamism has been impressive enough to wow judges and, most importantly, book them a place at the final. Judges' assessments of these gifted talents have been inspiring and one that reassures of promising prospects.
Wow, I love that performance. You were able to tell a story from the beginning to the end of the track. And this is what we expect dancers to come on this platform to showcase. Everything about you was just awesome. You were very well coordinated. Your energy level was good, very creative, very dynamic, and I loved everything. Keep it up.
To the duo, making it to the final with 7 others is a fulfilling feat, and they hope to let that count on May 7. The Allo Dancers look forward to rewriting history as the first dance group to win the competition.
Stage in Abebubu, National Theatre stage in Abebubu.
Assam GH Allo is their trainer.
Coming to this competition, we saw the talents in them. We trusted them vividly, so we just wanted to bring them here, and I know they will win too. Yeah, they will win.
Expect nothing but amazing dance moves, stepped up energy, and of course, passion-inspired creativity. Talented Kids Grand Finale comes off at the National Theatre on May 7. Make a date.
May 7th is the day.
Yes, absolutely, at the National Theatre.
And we're counting down to it. So on Sunday.
Absolutely.
So please, if you haven't gotten your ticket as yet, please come and get your tickets and go watch these kids. My name is Alfred Okansi.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. News at 10 will be simulcast on 3FM 92.7. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. Next is Do Not Love Me So Much. Stay with TV3 and have a good evening.